haven't heard that in like old cartoons, right? Is that something new? I don't understand. What do you I'm asking just because it's happened. I don't know what so it's not lax. All right, I'm just laughing because it's like so packed right now. So what's Tuesday and Thursdays and the days that you're just because like if you follow like page press, you go like instead like they kind of pick up on that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like your big days. So you know if you get Tuesday, Thursday, another day, it's just like in the winter because it's like it's too cold. I mean, you know, I saw a woman I guess was at a job and said to everyone, I said to her, she's thick as can be. Hey, Alex. Anyway, all right, so good to know. All right. Anybody ask me others? You know, when they're making conversation, and I'm like, I just want to get in the pool now. Pretty amusing.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hate to interrupt everybody's fellowship. I really appreciate it. My name is Lance Norris, and I'm here to welcome you to the 28th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here today as we honor the remarkable life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A special acknowledgement goes to our Chapel Hill Town Council members, Interim Town Manager Mary Jane Nerlanger, Deputy Town Manager Lauren Clark, department heads, and every town employee who contributes to our community. I would also like to recognize the dedicated planning committee for their exceptional efforts in organizing this significant event. Please stand and take a moment to appreciate your hard work. I want to tell you, these folks really, for 6 months, really work hard and make my life easier trying to pull this thing together, and I really appreciate it. This year's theme is Everybody Can Be Great because Everybody Can Serve. Today, Atuya Cornwell will showcase the outstanding volunteer service efforts our town employees did in Western North Carolina and Chapel Hill, and will share exciting future opportunities for town staff to uphold the spirit of service throughout the year. We are thrilled to have town employee Brenton Harrison perform a solo, followed by a musical selection from the Chapel Hill Mouse Choir. Additionally, we will receive motivational words from interim town manager Mary Jane Nerlanger, Prepare to have your thoughts provoked by Chapel Hill Poet Laureate Dr. Donovan A. Livingston, and your heart inspired by a message from our distinguished honoree, Pastor Nate Davis. After the program today, we invite you to join us for lunch and fellowship next door in the Hargraves Community Center. Let's celebrate together.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Atuya Cornwell. I have the pleasure to serve as the Director of Parks and Recreation, so welcome. And I also have the distinct honor to be able to spotlight, in my humble opinion, the best public service in the entire world, my teammates here in the town of Chapel Hill. Y'all agree with that? Yeah, right? So, whether it's participating in the service projects associated with this year's MLK celebration, like serving the Northside Elementary School as guest readers on a snow day, that was pretty fun, right? Or either making these thank you notes. Here's my thank you note that I made. Yeah, that we're going to be able to give out to public service and volunteers that impact Chapel Hill throughout the year. It's been a very, very cool week, but beyond this cool week of service, our town team does phenomenal work throughout the year. So it's really an honor for me to be able to spotlight some of these efforts and also give you a little sneak peek inside of what we've been able to accomplish with our teammates that went to Western North Carolina in the last fall. So as you can see here, we're getting the photos here on here shortly. These examples remind us that it's not about how big or small the acts of service is, but about the impact that it makes on the community. Behind me, you see a couple photos of our town team from so many different departments that lend a helping hand in Western North Carolina, following Hurricane Helene last fall. These folks will tell you that these pictures don't even begin to capture the devastation that they saw. Hurricane Helene wiped out homes, businesses, entire main streets off the ground, and at this time, about 104 people have been confirmed to have died during that process and during that storm. Our state estimates that over $53 billion in damage across the region occurred. But what you might not know is that our town team stepped up even before the storm hit. We know our emergency management team helps keep us prepared here locally. Shout out to our emergency management team. But they also do things even beyond the Chapel Hill. This team went right to Western North Carolina early on to help set up shelters and get things running. These shelters would become home base for many who weren't sure they would have a home after the storm hit. Our emergency management team, along with our police crisis unit, went east to the state's Emergency Operations Center in Raleigh. This is where they helped coordinate statewide response to the storm. Our team here locally specializes in peer support, so they were tasked with making sure our first responders were doing okay as they worked on some of the most difficult days of their career. Frankie, shout out to Frankie, our police dog, was also there to comfort our first responders with a warm comfort that only a pup can provide. Our public works, parks and recreation, police and fire teams went to hard-hit areas in the mountains where they got an up-close and personal look of the destruction and met so many people whose lives were forever changed because of the storm. Our firefighters and the Regional North Carolina Task Force 8 were a welcoming sight for people who were hoping for a miracle. These teams helped with rescues in fast-moving waters. They searched buildings that had collapsed. They rescued folks from extremely tight spaces. They did this for days after the rain was gone, after the storm was gone. Our public works and parks and recreation crews brought heavy equipment from dump trucks to chainsaws. They helped remove brush and fallen trees to clear roads all over. They'll tell you that there's still a lot of much work to do in that area, but with every branch that they cut, every truck that they fill, they help the people of Western North Carolina begin to return closer to what might not ever seem normal, but a little bit closer to normal. Our police officers, the guardians of the hill, showed us that they're not only as guardians here in Chapel Hill, but beyond. Several teams of officers spanned several weeks in the mountains. They responded to 911 calls so that local authorities could catch their breath to get a break. And they checked on loved ones that were stationed at the shelters to help anyone that might be in need. They also helped provide security for local businesses. To my colleagues, they gave so much incredible effort. I want you to know this. While we take this time to celebrate these acts of service, we know that what you saw wasn't easy. At times it was heartbreaking. fact, we know it's something that we probably can't even imagine. We know there are so many stories that don't have a great ending. There are many families and friends and loved ones who were not reunited during that storm. We hope you remember that your presence alone brought relief to Western North Carolina and our neighbors there. And we are super, 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 super proud to call you our teammates. With that said, any of our team members that did go help with the efforts in Western North Carolina are here present today. Would ask that you please stand. Once again, thank you so much for your efforts. It's a pleasure to call you our teammates. Thank you.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. See, I go to the movies and I go downtown. And somebody keep telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please, yeah. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. And Lord, there's been times when I thought I couldn't last for long. But now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
One more time for my man Brenton Harrison, y'all. Yes, y'all. My name is Dr. Donovan Livingston. I bring you greetings from my hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina, but really, really grateful and excited to be here in this capacity as the town of Chapel Hill's third poet laureate. Being here is a blessing in a lot of ways. I was an undergraduate here, I was a poet here, I found my voice here, and I was called to serve because of the experiences I had here as an artist, as a student, and an active member of our campus and town community. And so today, I also gotta let you know that I'm a hip hop artist. I bring you greetings in that tradition as well. So when I say hip, y'all say hop. Hip, hop. Hip. Hip hop culture is predicated on 4 principles: peace, love, unity, and having fun. Can you say that with me? Peace. Love, unity, having fun. I love it. It's like we in church or something. Amen. Let's get it. So I'm gonna warm us up with a little verse and I'm gonna go into what I came to get into. But if you could, now you gonna have to face the wrath of my diaspora. Hop on the track, each rhyme I master. I'm a slave to the rhythm, never mind my stature. Had to harvest hard cotton and I chop tobacco. When I die, y'all better like my casket, cause when I come back, I'ma haunt these rappers, but not like Casper. Hold your laughter when you see my ghost, hope you see your past, bruh. Now, ashes, ashes, dust is dust. Remember who gave you funk from the back of the bus? Who gave you the blues when you were down in your luck? Yo, who gave you rock and roll and who took it from us? Now trust, it's just a grievance that I don't think need repeating. The freedom we're here this evening, I sit them down and I greet them. Be cautiously glad to meet them, but why you be so misleading? Living in the world, oppression is undefeated. I mean, I got a reason for being so freaking heated. Women lose their right to choose, get raped and we don't believe them. Brothers register to vote and hope it don't get deleted. Immigrants seek asylum, get here and they get mistreated. Do you pray? I mean, there's someone other than Jesus. If such is the case, we better go on our knees in private. But why is it like this? The world's in crisis. I write to write this. Look, it's my right to write this, because every life is righteous. Yo, I hope freedom is like this. Nah, I know freedom is like this. Yeah, now get your hands up, hands up. Yeah, if you believe in freedom, go stand up. Stand up, now get your hands up, hands up. If you believe in freedom, go stand up. Stand up, I said, flood the streets, disturb the peace. I said, flood the streets, disturb the peace. I said, flood the streets. I said, flood the streets. Yes, yes, y'all, and you don't stop. Keep disturbing the peace, man. Make some noise for yourself. And I say disturb the peace with intention because Dr. King himself said peace is not the absence of tension, but the presence of justice. If we go on conforming, doing the things that we feel most comfortable doing, peace is not within arm's reach. You feel me? I hope that you continue to put yourselves in situations and scenarios where you are called to be great. Because as we said today, because everybody can serve. In that concept, I'm called to King's last speech before the night of his murder in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been to the mountaintop. When he begins his oration, he creates this hypothetical scenario where he's face to face with the Almighty, and the Almighty asks him, if you can be put in any moment in human history, what would it be? And strangely enough, Dr. King said, this moment right now. And in response to that, he said verbatim, now that's a strange statement to make because the world is all messed up. The nation is sick. Trouble is in the land, confusion all around. That's a strange statement, but I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. And so when I think about stars, I think about people in my own family, hallmarks that I have been able to try to live up to, people in my own life who have been able to see the light amid such darkness. And I think about my parents who grew up in a Jim Crow South, right here in North Carolina as well. And I'm thinking about my mother who at 9, was taken to her first sit-in protest by my grandparents. And the piece I'm gonna leave you with today is entitled Just Like Your Mama. Not your mama, because I don't know her like that. We share the same face, her and I. She was 9, I was but a twinkle in her iris. Her eyes had seen much suffering. Unexplained injustices all the days of her young life when she decided enough was enough. We share the same skin. Mahogany hue melanin that wouldn't let her in, that we don't serve your kind skin, that brown, y'all gonna have to go around the back skin. Back when a hole in the wall eatery would literally be the way we received our food, that little girl couldn't stomach the incivility. I know, because I was there. The butterfly in her belly, the swelling when a butterfly in her belly, the swelling that little girl couldn't stomach the incivility. I know because I was there. The butterfly in her belly, the swelling when swallowing her pride became too hard to digest. The scars in her tummy told a story. On a humid Carolina afternoon, she moved to the beat of her own drum, the sun beaming brightly atop her brow, two ponytails and bangs, waving picket signs, demanding her spot at a lunch counter, her seat at the table when company comes. The sun was unforgiving that day. She told me nowadays racism and humidity are one and the same. Invisible to the naked eye, but you feel it when you walk outside. So don't tell me be cool, don't sweat it, like it is in summer somewhere every day of the year. Racism, like the sun, doesn't go away by simply averting your eyes. We share the same ears, clogged prisons, overcrowded with names of victims, Terrence Crutcher, Philando, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, and the Charleston Nine. Their names drop like bodies on my eardrums, strumming the rhythms we march to. Denise McNair, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robinson, Addie Mae Collins. How do their names sound after all this time? Because she was their age too. And she saw to it their memories boom like Sunday school at 16th Street Baptist in Birmingham. I hear you, mama. The ringing in my ears reminded me why my words matter like Black lives. I swear, our movements were twin babies nursed in America's bosom. We share the same lips, blowing a kiss of death to Jim Crow, singing freedom songs while doing so like we shall overcome. So we gonna be all right. Screaming all my life I has to fight, but fighting back is what we do. Anti-oppression is our DNA. These double helix strands stand on a twisted view of justice, double dutching the status quo, hoping you'll jump in, but we won't. We won't. We are programmed to revolt. Oh yeah, we share the same smile too. This gap-toothed grin is a reminder that now is the space between history and future. Now is the only space you ever occupy in this universe, and now is the only truth you will ever see, so tell it unapologetically, because history, y'all, is genetic. And every day she looked me in the face and say, boy, you look just like your mom. I know. Thank you.
Because Today we gather in this very gym, a place that bears the name of his father, Nate Davis Sr. This gym is not just a building, it's a testament to a legacy of service and dedication. Our speaker is another testament, because service is more than a value to aspire to, it's a virtue that defines who he is. Pastor Nate, you were chosen not because you're a local pastor, but because you embody the very essence of service. You have accepted the baton and you're running with it, leading a legacy of love and service of your very own, and it inspires us all. Let me tell you a little bit about Pastor. He's a dedicated and passionate leader who has been in ministry for over 20 years. Proud native of Chapel Hill, like I said, he's made a profound impact on his community through his unwavering commitment to service and faith. His professional career began upon graduation from Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina, as an employee of the Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools, teaching and coaching within the district for nearly a decade. He has served as the senior pastor of Now Church since 2019. I attend, you all should come and have you have a good time. 10 to 11:30. Shameless plug. Pastor Nate honed his skills as an associate pastor and through leadership roles in various ministries. His experience spans a diverse range of responsibilities, including leading men's group, young adult groups, baptism teams, as well as facilitating premarital and marital counseling and discipleship classes. This extensive background has equipped him with a rich understanding of church life and the needs of its members. Pastor Nate's vision for Now Church is both transformative and practical. He believes in creating an environment where the message and experience of the church impact not only Sunday mornings, but extend to the daily lives of the congregation. His aim is to ensure that everyone's right now influences their everyday, fostering a community where faith and daily life are seamlessly intertwined. His unique ability to translate spiritual concepts into everyday life is often described as modern-day parables, and they are hilarious, by the way. I'm gonna ad-lib this volume here. His talent for making biblical teachings accessible and relevant to individuals at any stage of their faith journey sets him apart as a truly gifted communicator. His sermons are known for their clarity, insight, connecting deeply with people regardless of their continuum and their spiritual understanding. Known for his approachable and caring nature, Pastor Nate makes it a priority to be present for his congregation. It's not uncommon to see him engaging with members before and after services, always ready to offer a warm greeting and a listening ear. His genuine affection for people at Now Church is evident in his hands-on approach to pastoral care. This same level of care is demonstrative in his appointments to North Carolina commissions, as well as the way that he's partnered with local organizations such as Table Ministry and Chapel Hill Parks and Recreation to meet the needs of the underserved in our community. Family is at the heart of Pastor Nate Davis Jr.'s life. He has been happily married to his childhood sweetheart, Tequila Davis, for 27 years, and together they have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. His commitment to family mirrors his dedication to his church and exemplifies his values of love and faith in action to all who know him. Please join me in a warm, heartfelt welcome for Pastor Nate Davis Jr., a true legacy bearer of Chapel Hill. Members of our committee to kind of join me while we have a little bit of a heating up. Got a little bit of it. So our steering committee, y'all come on up. So we have a bag here. You can go through that at your leisure. Okay? It's got some goodies in there. Little town Chapel Hill swag. today, and it's by the town of Chapel Hill, and it shows the location. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. Ooh, let me get myself together. Now, let me help you out a little bit. When the choir sings like that, just in case you haven't been around the church structure, that's okay, you never have. But the thing you're supposed to sing is say, sing, choir. So let's try that one time, all right? On three. 1, 2, 3. Sing, choir. All right, that's what's up. I'm honored to be here this afternoon, and I know one of the things that people kind of get nervous about is when a preacher gets up to speak, the thing they want to ask is, how long will he be up there? Because I know y'all got lunch and you got some other stuff to do, and so I'm not one of those preachers. I'm not a long-winded preacher. One of the things I do want to do is I do want to brag on myself a little bit before I get started. You may be saying, what does that mean? I am Chapel Hill. I am Chapel Hill through and through. I'm not the only person in here that is Chapel Hill, but I am Chapel Hill, and you got the right person to speak this afternoon. I can say that I am the right person to speak this afternoon because I am from Chapel Hill. So I walked in this place, and I was just kind of looking around, and I can remember as somebody who went to daycare, after school, and summer camp here. So I started going to Hargraves Recreation in 1975 as a 2-year-old down at camp. So I remember when there was no gym, it was just 2 outside basketball courts, and all this was just area where all the kids would take out basketball and kick it, and you had to catch it before you went down to the woods, before your ball went down to the woods. And because my dad worked over here for 47 years, I could not go tell my dad what would happen because I would lose some of my cachet with the people who attended Hargraves Recreation Center. But as I was thinking and just talking, and as people came in, one of the reasons I said I am Chapel Hill, I am from Chapel Hill, is because I have a perspective as somebody being the son of somebody who worked here for 47 years, and being a product of this Northside area. Many of the people who came in this afternoon, I was telling them I've known all my life. The people who give you tickets downtown for parking, I've known them all my life. People who work at town, I basically grew up on Plant Road. I basically grew up where the mayor's office was. So the thing about it is, with this being a thing for service, you know, I grew up when we would, in the summertime, we would go to the movies on Tuesday and Thursdays as Hargraves Recreation summer camp, and having a relationship with the bus driver, having a relationship with the police officers, having a relationship with the town manager, having the relationship with people who did grounds. They would cut grass and stuff and come and play basketball with us a little bit. I had a relationship with the police officer, and so many other people that I may be leaving out. But 50 years, as a 51-year-old, I still remember those relationships. And so sometimes you can see what you do as just a job, but what you do is a job of service. You're serving hundreds and thousands, and Clyde Clark, they were doing sanitation. Those people, Mr. Mans, Toby Hooker, who was a classmate of mine, you're doing service that you can't look at just what you're doing right now, but 50 years from now, I hope we're all still here, there's going to be somebody up here, and they're going to say, I remember the people down on Plant Road. I remember the chief of police. I remember the town manager. I remember Mr. Ken Davis, who was over inspection. I remember those people 50 days, 51 years later. So when you talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and you talk about service, everybody in this room, you are an illustration of service in this community. That I want you to be able to say, 50 years after I'm retired, Mr. Rigsby, 50 years after I'm done, there's going to be somebody who can stand up and say, I did one thing during their lifetime that was an act of service. Andre Boynton, who worked with my dad for 30 years, one person who can say, I remember you because when you were driving the bus, you said something nice to me. When you were doing grounds, you took my ball and asked me for a shot. When I was a police officer, you asked me, how could I be of help to you? How could I be of service? Will they be able to say that about you? I think one of the things that Dr. Martin Luther King says, what makes us great is we all can serve, but we look for so many avenues and so many ways to do service outside of what we do every day. To see somebody who grew up across the street from Hargrave Center now working for the town. That means somebody in this room years ago as we grew up had an effect on his life that he wanted to do what you do, and that's serve. So as I walk around this place and I see how much has changed and see people who've touched my life and served, I was kind of giving people the back history of before there wasn't a gym and summer camp. My dad would get on his truck every day and we would have to go down to Frank Porter Graham to get breakfast for all I can say it now because he's retired a long time ago. Andre said that was my dad's Achilles heel. For all the kids he just let show up for some. It's probably be about 50 of them, but he let just 300. If you just showed up, you were in camp. Just get in line, do exercise, put you on the rope. I know that's against the rules. I know the statute of limitations when y'all can do something to them. But probably 50 kids registered, but it was like 500 over here. And having the talent, we would go down every morning at Porter Graham and pick up breakfast. I can remember picking up the milk carts and picking up the juices, and you knew you would have a good breakfast, and they had cinnamon rolls, and I can remember all those things, and as I walk through and I'm looking, but one of the things that can happen is we can be so far removed. If I had to give the next 5 minutes of what my talk, my speech is you don't want to be so far removed. One of the things that we can do outside of serving for the town of Chapel Hill is don't be so. Now, Pastor Nate, what do you mean by so far removed? Now, I probably shouldn't tell you this. I probably should have brought my wife with me because she kind of keeps me under control. I usually don't dress like this on Sundays. This is like the only black suit that I have. And I dressed up just for y'all. But being so far removed, and she would probably, I did check with her, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know, Monday we're celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And I have 4 kids, 2 who are still at home. And my middle school, my middle boy, he's a typical teenager, he's 15. And I said, hey, tell me what you know about Dr. Martin Luther King. Now I'm going to tell you his response, but everybody promise, don't share this with my wife, because I'll get in trouble. He said, Daddy, he was some dude. And I said, what? Yeah, he was dude that did a pretty cool speech that I did a project about before. And I said, well, and I started asking him some questions, but the thing about it is, a lot of you can look at me and say, wow, you've done a pretty bad job of parenting. But I wonder if I ask your kids who Dr. Martin Luther King is, what would be their response? If we asked them who was Rosa Parks, what would be their response? If we asked them who Harriet Tubman, what would be their response? But what has happened is because there's so much change that has happened in our country, but there's so much work still to be done, we're so far removed. I had the honor of being raised by parents who were boomers. So every day walking out of house, there was a life lesson and a reminder of who you are, where you came from, and what happened. My mother was always telling me about the sit-in at Phillips Junior High School. My dad was always telling me he was the first group of students to leave Lincoln and to go to Chapel Hill High and integrate. He and James Taylor. I had to throw that in. Shameless Chapel Hill plug. But I was always reminded. But in our culture right now, because everything is kind of meshed together, but there's still work to be done, we don't have those conversations. Because we're so far removed. Schools are integrated. Universities are integrated. As my brother was talking about going through the back door to be served, we're not doing that anymore. So we can kind of get comfortable and say the work has been done, but there's still so much work to do. What we don't want to do is be so far removed, and then we have things that pop up in our culture, and we're kind of like, where did that come from? I'm so shocked. I cannot believe that's going on in our culture because we're still not having conversations until something goes bad, till something goes wrong. When I walk in this place, I'm not so far removed from as shiny, as nice. My dad's name is on it. Fred Battle, Toro's name is on the court. You see people jogging. You see college students, people who lived here don't live here anymore. I still remember there's work to be done, even though we've come so far. Have a conversation with your kids. Have a conversation with somebody else about things that Dr. Martin Luther King did. So much work still to be done. But we don't want to be so far removed that when it does occur, we don't know where it came from. Because the generation that my son is in, and I'm glad there's been great strides. Anybody, you glad? Anybody glad? I'm glad that there's great strides. I'm glad there's integration. I'm glad those things are going on. But I don't want them to not remember the strides of all of those who came before us because they're in a different culture, different generation. And Dr. Martin Luther King is just some dude who made an incredible speech. Talked about he had a dream. Our obligation is to remind this next generation how far we've come, but we got a long way to go. And it starts with you having a conversation with them and continue doing what you're doing so that some black kid at age 51 can point out not only black people, but white people in this room that had such an impact on his life. I was talking to a guy yesterday, in Chief Blue. Used to be Chief. Right? But I could have a one-on-one conversation with him because he knows my dad. I can go up and say, I'm Nate Davis's son. Because the relationship. So it's not just the black people in the room, but black and white. I want you to be able to say, my job of service is for somebody to stand up one day and say, because I drove their school bus, their city bus, because I was doing facilities, I was doing cleanup, I made an impact on their life. When they see me 30 years later, they say, I remember you. I salute you, I applaud you, I thank you for the impact you make on the town, and keep on doing what you're doing. A change is gonna come. Amen.
All right. Brenton, I am never going to get tired of hearing you sing that song. Where are you? Yeah. And that's twice now, Dr. Livingston, that you have made everybody's day better at a town event. Thank you. And Pastor Davis, thank you. Thank you for seeing us and seeing what everybody in this room does for service. And thank you for reminding us it is not just a job, and to keep showing up and to bring it closer. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm honored to be part of this event today. I'm also pleased to see so many colleagues and teammates gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King and to reflect on how his mission and vision continues to inspire our mission and vision. The town's mission is learning, serving, and working together to build a community where everyone can thrive. And I've been thinking about that a lot today in the context of the event and want to share a few reflections with you. Learning is so important, and learning together even more so. Learning about and truly understanding our history, the good and the bad and the ugly, is critical to creating a more just future. And events like this, held in places like this, allow us to come together collectively to hear those voices that continue to shape our community and to learn together so we can grow. Serving is the second word in our mission statement, and we know from Dr. King that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. And we heard from Matuya about our teammates who served our Western neighbors in time of dire crisis, and I can tell you that every single day across this community, you, our employees, are dedicated to service. Our solid waste crews hit the road this morning at 5 a.m. and they are out there serving. Our transit operators are on the road right now and they are serving. Our library workers are putting just the right book in a child's hand and they are serving. Our public safety folks who will roll out on calls throughout this long weekend are serving. And our maintenance crews who do everything from trimming grass in the medians on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to repairing appliances in our public housing neighborhoods, they're serving. There are far too many people performing daily acts of service for me to list here, but all of them serving together are what make our town such a special place. And the third part of our missions is working together. I know just how hard our team works. Whether you work 9 to 5 in an office, or overnight out on patrol, or 410s out in the field, your work is critical to the success of our team and our community. And as Dr. King said, no work is insignificant. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance. I want you, our town team, to know that your work uplifts our community. So our mission is to learn, serve, and work together, but to what end? That's where the last part of our mission statement comes in. Learning, serving, working together to build a community where everyone thrives. Dr. King spoke often of a beloved community,
where kindness, understanding, and goodwill are transformative forces that turn enemies into friends and allow all people to achieve their true potential. When we talk about a thriving community, we are talking about that very same thing. We imagine a thriving Chapel Hill as a place where we are all kind, understand neighbors, and we are all invested in realizing our community's potential. And we are all learning, serving, and working together to reach that potential. Thank you for allowing me to join this wonderful celebration. And on behalf of all town employees, I want to say thank you to this year's planning committee for pulling together such a great program.
Now I'll ask you all to stand and join our town choir in singing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the easy part. On behalf of the 2024 MLK Committee, we would like to thank each and every one of you for being a part of our 28th annual event. Please join us in the Hargrave Center as we continue to fellowship and have lunch. In closing, Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." Chapel Hill Transit is excited to invite you to a fireside chat that will be held in celebration of Black History Month and Chapel Hill Transit's 50th anniversary, so mark your calendars, Monday, February 10th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Join us at the Chapel Hill Public Library in Meeting Room A to hear from local leaders about our community's transportation history and its relation to civil rights. We hope you all join us for this reflective conversation from former Mayor Howard Lee, Braxton Foushee, Jerry Cohen, and Transit Zone Director Brian Litchfield. Let's take a moment to bow our heads. Let us bless the food and those who prepared it for us that we're about to receive for the nourishments of our bodies and the strengthening of our minds. Also, for those who couldn't be in attendance for this program, it will be available on live stream. Thank you, and as we heard today, let's continue to serve and take care of those that are. Thank you.
love this man's voice. Good to see you.